Hello everyone, and welcome back to Making a Musical, your inside look at Way Off Broadway's upcoming Into the Woods. I'm your host, Joe Wayard, and in this episode we're going to see parts of the very first rehearsal. We're also going to talk to a couple of the show's leading ladies, Mallory Rome and Jamie Lee Kiska. When most shows begin the rehearsal process, they get together for what is known as a read-through, which is exactly what it sounds like. The cast sits around a large table and reads through the script. But our director, Bill Kiska, decided to jump right in with music on day one. To tell you a little bit more about the music in Into the Woods is our music director, Jordan Stocksdale.
What I think I like the most about the Into the Woods score is the fact that Sondheim basically gives you everything you need for your portrayal of the song. Like, he's a very big composer on themes in all of his works, like Sweetie Todd Company. All of those have specific themes for specific characters that constantly pop up throughout, and he plays with different meters or different key signatures or accidentals thrown in here or there, and his music helps you feel what the character is feeling by switching around, just by adding a flat in the music here or there. It just helps convey what the actor is feeling, what the character is feeling, and it's very easy, I feel, as a performer and as a music director, to get the point across of what he wanted from each song, because he basically gives it all to you. It's just playing with it and finding where it sits.
All the tenderness and laughter for forever after.
Happy now and happiness and happy ever after.
Never danger, excitement, and confusion.
Beginnings.
The past will often swerve.
Maybe not.
There were constant
It's amazing
disillusions,
that we did it.
but they never lost their nerve.
Not a lot.
And they reached the right conclusions.
And we got what we deserve. Not a sigh and not a sorrow, tenderness and laughter. Joy today and bliss tomorrow and forever after.
The characters in Into the Woods are all of the fairy tale characters we grew up with as children. So we all have a pretty good idea of who they are and what they're like. Or do we? Some of them aren't going to necessarily be the way that you remember them. But being such iconic characters, how does an actor take that into consideration while still making the part their own? That's the question I asked Jamie Lee Kiska and Mallory Rome, who will be playing Little Red Riding Hood and Cinderella this fall at Way Off Broadway.
Everyone knows Little Red as the sweet little girl who is taking candy and bread to her sick little granny. And Little Red in the show does that same thing too, but she has a little bit of a different personality, where she's a little bit more determined and she's a little bit bratty, and she kind of likes to keep the stuff for herself, but in her heart she still does love her granny very much. And she turns into quite a feisty little number.
It's only been the first day of rehearsals, so I'm still getting to know the character of Cinderella, but I think, having never seen the show before and having never seen a stage production of it, I have an advantage so that when I get my script, I can really get to know Cinderella as a brand new person, and I can discover who she is myself and go on that journey, so that by the time I hit performances, I hope that I'll still have what people love about her and know about her, but also some new aspects to her that make her a little bit more human and a little bit more relatable.
Till tomorrow and extended ever after.
Ever after.
All the curses have been ended. The reverses wiped away. All the tenderness and laughter for forever after.
Is Sondheim complicated? That is a complicated question, because some people find it very difficult, other people find it no more complicated than any other musical. I think his direction of the music can be complicated, and I think the way he wrote the music, it can be very complex, not so much complicated. I think it all depends on the performer. I find some of his pieces to be very easy that some people find to be very confusing, and vice versa. Having done The Baker before, it helped me find places in the rehearsal process to find the easy spots of his music. Like, certain chunks of the Baker specifically songs are much easier to learn when you're doing it on their feet, because it helps you with the blocking and the situation. There's many times where he likes to take the same melody and overlay them on top of each other with every group of actors starting 2-3 measures apart from each other, which can be very complicated when you're sitting down and learning it sitting around a piano. But when you put it up on its feet and you're not standing next to someone who's singing the other 2 parts, you find that it clicks much easier than if you're sitting in your group and trying to go off of where your melody goes along with the piano. But I would say it's complex, not complicated.
So, am I nervous about singing Sondheim? A little bit, but I know Jordan, the music director, has a really good ear, and he's really going to work well with us and really get what he wants out of us, and he's going to take his time and help us. And I know the cast is phenomenal. Just hearing them the first part of the rehearsal tonight, I know it's going to be a great show.
Into the woods it's time, and so I must begin my journey. Into the woods and through the trees to where I am expected, ma'am. Into the woods to grandmother's house. Into the woods to grandmother's house. The way is clear, the light is good. I have no fear, nor no one should. The woods are just trees, the trees are just wood. I sort of hate to ask it, but do you have a basket?
The cast is set and rehearsals have begun. A lot of people don't really realize how long the rehearsal process actually is. But you're watching this a few weeks before the show opens, but the first rehearsal was actually all the way back in August. So by the time the show opens, the cast has already been rehearsing for almost 2 months. For the production team, the director, music director, and designers, they've been working on the show even longer. Well, thanks for watching this week's Making a Musical. I'm Joe Wayard, and I'll see you next week when we'll talk to a few more of the cast members, including some who are making their Way Off Broadway debut with Into the Woods. Don't forget to call the box office and reserve your seats now.